Hey everyone, it's another video for How to Digital Paint. It's Cam. This video I'll be showing you this illustration. It's just a simple illustration, simple idea. This style is good for if you're doing storyboards or mood boards, like advertising sort of stuff, just because it's bright, it's colourful and it's fun. So start out just with the basic sketch, basic idea. Not worrying about the details too much, just suggesting what's there. And then with each layer on top of that, after dropping the opacity, I can begin to define the figure and other elements. So since this figure is the central focus, go in and draw that first, just using a round brush. And I'm breaking down the forms, the human figure, into basic forms, their primitive shapes, and it also helps to flip the canvas horizontal just to check if things look right. Kind of resets your eyes. Yeah, if you're looking for some good books on figure drawing, check out Andrew Loomis's books. They are free ebooks. I think they've gone into reprint, so you can maybe pick some up. But yeah, you can check them out in one of my previous videos. It's called Free Ebooks for Learning How to Draw. So as you can see, the figure's taken maybe like 5 different passes, skipping ahead here, and it took me quite a while to get it right, but in the end it turned out okay. Although there's still some issues, but I wasn't too worried because I guess the style lends itself to a bit of exaggeration. And I mean, if you're really struggling, use reference. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using reference. I'd say you just don't trace or use a reference as a guide rather than something that you're trying to copy exactly. Depending, of course, I mean, you might shoot your own reference, and you're more than welcome to copy that, but often if you copy reference exactly, it sometimes doesn't look right. It's strange, but I guess it's because people would be more critical of a drawing versus being critical of a photo. Yeah, so sketching it in. This is like the inking layer, so using an opaque brush. Skipping ahead, I've sketched in a foreground figure to push the depth a bit. And then on your new layer beneath, painting the background. So that's just using the gradient tool. Set to the radial setting, and then painting some water. Then the rope swing again. Sorry, I feel like I'm really stating the obvious here, but I mean, that's the point of a commentary, right? Yeah, so also if you're having trouble with an illustration, maybe try acting it out. Like, if I was really having trouble with this, maybe I should actually go jump on a rope swing and see what it's like, and could bring that real experience into the photo. So with those clouds, I've just used the lasso tool and selected areas, filled it with white, and then using the smudge tool on top. Also locking the transparency so I can paint into them, and then again smudging. And you can get a lot of different effects with smudge tools if you're using the different custom brushes. I'm using a custom brush. It's like a square kind of messy chalk thing, and it works really well for this sort of thing. But yeah, you can experiment with your own, make your own, and try effects like scattering, and you can get some cool things happening with the smudge. So on a new layer, filling up the character, I found you can actually, later on, I found out you can actually use the magic wand tool to click outside and then inverse select, and you can choose what's inside that, but it doesn't always work out too well, so usually just paint it in manually. The good thing about painting this solid block of colour for an area is that you can use that for your selection. So if you paint layers on top, you can control click the layer thumbnail and it'll select the pixels, and then you can make a new layer on top and paint things in, like I'm painting here with the red shorts on top. And you can keep everything neat on their own layer. For the background there you saw me before, that was just the gradient tool again, but with an overlay layer on top, just to lighten things up. So when I'm laying down these colours, I'm thinking of like a mid-tone, and then I can bring highlights on top. As you can see here, I'm throwing in the highlight, and that's on a overlay layer on top, and then also painting another layer on top with overlay, and then once again with the light layer, duplicating it and then blurring it, and then setting it to color dodge and lowering the opacity. And the effect that gives helps with the subsurface scattering effect, which is when light illuminates skin and the light bounces up around beneath the surface of the skin and makes the blood kind of glow, so you get this red edge on the edge of highlights and shadows. And you can see that blue again, new layer, overlay, and that'll be painting in the bounce light that would be coming from the water. So you can think about those elements, and you can add more realism even to like a cartoony style by bringing in real observances from you know, how light works and how colour works in the world. And you can see on the toes I made them kind of red because that's the subsurface scattering again. You can get that effect when you put your hand against the torch. See your hand kind of glows. So again, the same procedure for colouring, just with the foreground figure. A lot of overlays and things on new layers. You can do it all on one layer, but I like to do things on different layers just because it gives me more leeway to adjust things if things aren't looking right. Saves me the dramas as well, and if I've got the RAM to do it, I may as well. Bit of bounce light from the water there. Also colouring the line, so with the line layer selected I set it to lock transparency, and then I can just paint into the lines. Lock transparency will only affect the pixels that have been put down. So there I've duplicated it. I did that lasso select and then Control Shift C, which is copy merged, or copy all layers beneath, and then you can paste it to a new layer. And then I've adjusted it, multiply layer on top for the shadow, giving it a bit of a ripple effect, and then now putting in the speech bubble, rope swing. Yeah, and you can get some pretty cool lettering. The way I do it is just I usually increase the firmness of the Wacom Stylist and the properties. That gives me better line variation, and then I can use an opaque round brush with transfer clicked off, so it's and then can just write big with it and get some interesting lettering. Same thing with the signature. So pretty much done. Just do some hue adjustments, color balance adjustments, levels adjustments, and yeah, that's pretty much how I finish all my images, just a few tweaks for the adjustment layers. And obviously adjustment layers are better because it will affect everything beneath and you can edit it. Bit of a blur effect on the rope swing there too. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and hope you learned something.